Welcome back. I am the Internet Football Guy, also known as Michaelis on Twitter. This is my co-host Jake, and tonight we have our second installment of the Meet the Manager series. This is Josh Buck, a good buddy of mine. He is the owner of the Fourth String Running Backs. Welcome, Josh. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hey, everybody. So I'm Josh. I work with Micah at Members First, live in Midland. This is my first league and only league that I'm a part of. So I think this is the third year for the league. So third year playing fantasy. And yeah, that's just a little about me. I like playing video games, like disc golf.
Tight. Josh, like being a newer member to Dynasty Football, to being in the league. What has your experience been like in terms of where you started versus where you're at now in terms of knowledge, what your roster's like, your overall view on fantasy?
So Micah invited me to join this Dynasty League when it was forming. Knew that I had no experience and that I'd be going in. And then he used that to screw me in many trades as soon as I started.
Cut the cameras. Fake news. There was one bad trade, and he's recovered just fine. Besides your start, Josh, how do you think you fare now?
Besides my start, I've still been rebuilding, trying to come back from a poor start. It wasn't just like a bad trade with Micah. I made a lot of poor decisions in that first year. So I've just really been trying to come back from it. I feel like I'm doing well. Probably have another year or two getting all my pieces into place. But once I do start coming for the top, I plan on staying there. So
well said.
I like it. I'm gonna pull up your roster here. And I want you to kind of just walk me through what you think of your team. What kind of overall was your approach to putting the team you put together? Starting with maybe your young receivers, your quarterback. What is kind of your foundation pieces?
So really what I'm just trying to focus on right now is young talent. Kyler Murray as quarterback, he's still going to be there for a good while. And he has the moves to where he can produce some solid points. If not thrown in the air, then he can run it himself. As far as the other positions, I just, again, try and go for young talent. I have a lot of rookies on my team this year. Just need to let them age. And the people that aren't rookies, they're 23, 24, all younger guys is what I'm trying to go for. I do have a couple older guys, I have Kirk Cousins and James Conner, just some decent people, but they're up there in age. I know that by the time I actually try to contend, they probably won't be a part of my team by then.
For sure. I would say you along with Jason is another example of a team that where you can see the way that you're heading, you're definitely not there yet, but you have a direction. You also just looking at these draft picks too, you got 2 first rounders, you got 3 second rounders going into a super talented draft. What is your overall take on Josh's team and any questions you have for him?
Yeah, I mean, with a lot of draft capital, he's locked in, ready to go. If you want to jump back to the roster section for me, I want to talk about a few bright spots on his team. The first one being Rashad Bateman. I know last year he was the number 2 wide receiver on the Ravens. They got rid of Marquise Brown. The numbers on Bateman, even though he didn't have a huge year, were really good. His separation when he was targeted was super good. So they kind of figured once he came into a number 1 role, he's going to dominate, right? And I know he only had 4.9 points in week 3. We're here. It's just Monday night right now. Week 3 is just finishing up. But weeks 1 and 2, this man went off. He was cooking Xavier Howard out there, who just held Stephon Diggs to a pretty respectable game. The other one is Garrett Wilson, who looked super strong this year. I want to see how he fares when Zach Wilson comes back. But so far, you got to love what you see out of both of those guys this year. Potential cornerstone pieces for Josh for the next, decade potentially.
Yeah, Josh, I think you have a really strong team, and you got some good dart throws at like your younger talent. Christian Watson, we don't know what he's going to become. Brevin Jordan's been out, but he's had some pretty good reviews for being a tight end for Houston. You got some pieces that if they pan out. But the one thing I guess we could kind of segue into our last little bit here, which is we're going to talk about what you're doing with your team, is this trade. You talk going young, and then Olave's out of there. As of this afternoon, you traded Olave to Meach for Nico Collins, a first and a second rounder next year. Talk to me what went through your mind with that, and what kind of trades are you looking for now? What is kind of your plan going for the rest of the season?
So I know I gave Mike a shit like when I first joined and him like screwing me with trades. But when I saw the email come across my phone, new trade from Big Meech, I was like, oh, what kind of shit is he throwing my way now? That was my first reaction. But then I looked at it and like immediately I saw the trade. I'm like, hey, I'm getting the first rounder back. I'm trying to stack up draft capital, like number one. That's my thing. And he offered Nico Collins back as well, which I actually drafted Nico Collins when he was a rookie and traded him to Micah that year. But I did always like him as a wide receiver, especially give him a couple more years. So I saw that. I really am loving the numbers Olave is putting up this year. And I would have loved to have kept him. But for Nico, who I think is probably going to hit his stride right around where I'm trying to push, a first round and a second for a stacked draft class, I'm like, all right, I can part with Olave here.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Meach knew he had to pay big for a player of Olave, especially after the week he came off in the first couple weeks of the season. I mean, I think it's a good trade for both sides in terms of what you were looking for out of it, right? Any other questions I guess you have for me, or anything else you want to add to it, Josh?
I would just say good luck to him. I know Josh has taken some jabs at our trades here, but I promise you he has accepted all of them as well. And though he's highlighted some bad ones, I've traded with Josh more than anyone else in the league. It seems like every couple weeks we both get bored with our teams. We're like, hey, maybe we can work something out here, right? So in the 2 and 3 weeks that this has been a Dynasty League, we've probably got close to, 8 or 10 trades done. So don't let him fool you. But we do have a lot of good fun. So Josh, I wish you well. You're a great owner in the league. I'm happy to have you. I know your fantasy football knowledge might not have been deep before you joined the league, but I know you've grown a lot. I know you're having some fun. You're an active owner, so we appreciate you.
Thanks, man. And yeah, I did accept all of those trades. I like giving Mike a shit, but yeah, and he's exactly right. Just a few weeks go by, it's pretty silent on the waiver wires of the trades, and I'm like, what do you got? Like, let's see if we can work something out here.
Yeah. Hey, on that note, Josh, I need to know what you got for a hot take. Send us out with something spicy.
Hot take. I think Stu is actually going to be bottom of the league this year.
Catching strays out here.
I might be saying that because I have Stu's first round pick next year.
No, you don't got to justify it, buddy. Let's just giggle and we'll end it.
Oh man, the coldest hot take I've heard, but I love it.
All right. On that note, if you guys got any crappy trades, send them over to Josh.
Yeah,
like I said, he's an active owner. We'll get back to you. But on that note, this is Josh. If you guys got any more questions for him, send them over his way. I know we're all in our Facebook chat. We all have the chat on Flea Flicker. Thanks for joining us, Josh, and we'll catch you next time.
All right. See you guys.